my reliable and patient Taurus friend. Hello and welcome. My name is Mina, and I'm here to offer you a 3-card reading exploring the themes of you, your path, and your potential. I invite you to consider what the reading reveals about possible challenges, opportunities, and personal growth for the week ahead. Take a deep breath, rest your mind, and let's see what the cards have to share with you today. Taurus, there's a sensation this week that settles in just beneath the surface, like a gentle ache you can't quite name. You feel the world's demands and your own need for peace, and they pull against each other in ways that make even small choices feel heavy. You might notice yourself wishing for a little more room to breathe, a little more certainty about what comes next. It's as if you're holding steady on the outside, but inside, something softly insists that you can't keep carrying every expectation at once. The air is thick with anticipation, but the source is hard to locate. There's a low hum of restlessness that seeps into quiet moments, and even as you try to maintain your usual calm, you sense the undercurrent of something about to break or bloom. In the hush of early morning or those moments just before sleep, you may hear your own questions echo back at you. What am I missing, and what am I holding onto that no longer serves me? There's no clear answer yet, only the reality of your own steady heart searching for balance. This week your inner landscape is shaped by temperance, not as a declaration of perfect harmony, but as a lived experience of shifting between extremes. You're quietly aware of the negotiations you make within yourself, when to speak, when to listen, when to assert, when to yield. It's subtle, this process, but you feel it in the way you respond to others and in the way you treat yourself. There's a longing for ease, for a sense of integration that knits together what feels scattered inside. Yet the more you chase stillness, the more you realize that peace isn't something to be achieved through force. It arrives, if at all, as a byproduct of allowing space for contradiction. You might notice moments where you feel stretched thin, balancing conflicting desires or the needs of others with your own. There's a quiet wisdom in you that recognizes the impossibility of pleasing everyone, including yourself, all the time. This week, that wisdom feels both comforting and frustrating. You may catch yourself seeking refuge in routines or small rituals, something to anchor you when emotions run high or low. The world around you asks for decisiveness, but your heart leans toward the middle path, preferring to move gently rather than rush ahead or retreat. In conversations, you find yourself listening a little longer, weighing words before you speak. Even the smallest decisions seem to ask for patience. You might sense the tension between wanting to resolve everything at once and knowing that some things need to unfold in their own time. Underneath it all, there's a tender acceptance growing, a willingness to sit with discomfort rather than push it away. You're learning to trust your own pace, even if it feels slow compared to the world's demands. It's not resignation, it's a quiet act of faith in your own timing, and in the possibility that balance can exist in motion, not just in stillness. The way you hold yourself this week, the striving for gentle balance, the patience with uncertainty, sets the stage for what comes next. The world doesn't pause just because you crave equilibrium. Instead, your inner negotiations give rise to situations that call for discernment. The boundaries you set inwardly begin to ripple outward, shaping the choices you face and the opportunities that appear. As you shift from internal reflection to external engagement, you'll notice that each decision feels somehow weightier, as if the stakes have quietly risen. It's not about dramatic changes, but rather about the subtle way your internal posture influences the way you respond to daily pressures, conversations, and invitations. The more you honor your own pace, the more you notice where your true priorities lie. And as the week unfolds, you become aware that every small act of self-respect is mirrored in the way the world responds to you. On your path, the High Priestess emerges, inviting you into a deeper relationship with your own intuition. This isn't a week for grand gestures or visible breakthroughs. Instead, the energy around you is marked by subtlety, by the kind of pressure that builds slowly, quietly, until it becomes impossible to ignore. There may be moments when you feel the world expects you to have all the answers, to show certainty where you feel only curiosity or doubt. The friction comes not from outward conflict, but from the quiet insistence of your own instincts. There's a momentum gathering here, not forward motion for its own sake, but a drawing inward, a pull to listen more closely to what lies beneath the surface of your daily life. You'll notice small revelations, flashes of insight that don't demand immediate action but linger, asking you to sit with them. The pressures you feel may not always be named aloud, but they move through your days like an undercurrent. People around you might look to you for stability, and you may find yourself offering calm even as you wrestle with uncertainty inside. In these moments, the friction is not about opposition, but about the effort it takes to remain authentic when the world prefers easy answers. Choices arise almost silently. You sense them in the pauses between words, in the questions you ask yourself when no one is watching. The more you pay attention, the more you realize how much goes unsaid, and how much wisdom can be found in silence. The active challenge of this week is to honor these quieter truths, to let them shape your responses without feeling the need to explain or justify them. It isn't always comfortable to follow an inner knowing that can't be easily explained, but there's strength in trusting that your deepest instincts are worthy of your attention. Even when the world seems to move quickly around you, there is power in moving at your own pace and letting your choices reflect what matters most to you, not just what's expected. The journey from inner balance to outward engagement is not automatic. It asks for your conscious participation at every step. The unfolding of your potential depends on your willingness to pause, to notice, to respond with care rather than habit. This is not a week where circumstances simply happen to you. Instead, the invitation is to show up with awareness, to meet each moment as it comes, and to recognize that your experience is shaped just as much by how you move through the world as by what the world brings to you. It's the difference between drifting and choosing to steer, even if only a little at a time. The more present you are with your own feelings, the more possible it becomes to move through challenges with a sense of integrity and self-trust. Your growth isn't measured by what you achieve, but by the way you meet the moment, again and again. In the space where your awareness meets reality, the Ten of Swords appears, not as a finality but as an opening. There's a sense here of reaching the natural end of a cycle, of recognizing that something you've carried, an old belief, a persistent worry, or an unspoken fear, has run its course. The invitation is not to dwell on what's over, but to notice the quiet relief that follows release. You may realize that holding on has become heavier than letting go. This week, you're offered a moment to acknowledge what no longer fits, to let it rest, and to make space for something lighter. Growth in this context is not about striving for more, but about recognizing when enough is enough. It's a subtle shift, the way your body relaxes when you stop bracing against an old tension, the way your mind clears when you accept that not every question needs an answer right now. There's a quiet dignity in allowing endings to be what they are, without judgment or regret. As you meet the week consciously, you may notice a gentle clarity taking shape, a sense that the road ahead is less cluttered, that you can move forward without dragging the weight of what's been. The possibility here is simple but profound, to find freedom in honesty, in the willingness to admit what you can no longer sustain, and in the trust that letting go is its own kind of strength. There is no rush to move on, only the spaciousness that arrives when you stop resisting what's true. When you look back on this week, you may see how each moment was connected. The longing for balance that shaped your days was not a sign of weakness, but a quiet strength. The patience you showed yourself became the foundation for deeper listening, and the willingness to trust your intuition allowed you to meet uncertainty with calm. The relief of letting go didn't arrive all at once, but built gradually, in the spaces where you allowed yourself to be honest about what you needed and what you could release. In the interplay of these three energies, temperance, intuition, and release, you found a way to move through the week with integrity. You learned that balance is not a static state but a practice, that wisdom often speaks in whispers, and that the end of one chapter is simply the beginning of another. Whatever the week brings, you can return to this understanding. You are capable of holding both tension and peace, of honoring your own pace, and of finding clarity even in the midst of change. The world may not offer certainty, but you have the tools to meet it with grace. In your quiet moments, you'll feel the truth of this, a steady confidence growing from within, reassuring you that you are exactly where you need to be. Actionable insights for Taurus this week. Let yourself notice when you feel stretched thin and pause before responding. Try spending a few quiet moments listening to your own thoughts without needing to solve anything. Allow yourself to admit when something feels too heavy to keep carrying. Spoken word affirmations to repeat aloud for a more positive mindset. I am allowed to move at my own pace. My inner wisdom is worth trusting. Letting go makes room for what I need. I am strong enough to meet this moment. And now, dear friend, I thank you for giving me your time. I truly hope I have given you something helpful in return. Goodbye and good luck until next time.